Okay, so it is really important, this piece. So here we are doing our journey with all our clutter and all our stories, all our pain. And at this point, we've got to get to a point now where we say, okay, what do I know because of my life? What have I gained as awareness and consciousness?
Okay.
And because of my pain, what does my heart seek, desire, and long for now? So you've got to put the one in sort of like a little energy bubble of the situation. And then you pull a line across to your heart. And what does my heart desire now? Who am I truly as a being of light and a being of life? And then you're holding two realities: the reality that you're experiencing as your human form, and the awareness of yourself beyond that. Two concepts. So now when you've got those two concepts going like that, there's a space between. Everything, my love, is happening in the space between. I'm going to have to be teaching on this story now for a long time. Maybe not so long. Maybe we'll get it quickly. Space between. Everything happens here. This is the place of absolute and pure potential. And that's exactly where the light beings have to stand now. Stand here, observing the story, the human story, in themselves and those around us, as fragments of information. And we stand here, and because of that, we know what it is that we would rather have, what it is that we're holding our hearts open towards. So that's the space between. It's an aware place, a place of awareness, a place of desire and longing. But the trouble is that the place in between has no parameters, no stories, no hooks, no people, no structures, no scaffolding, nothing. It's a vacant, empty nothingness, no thingness. And that for us cute humans is almost unbearable, because we want to have some kind of predictability and structure so that we can feel comforted. And the predictability, the desire for that, is what's locking us back into the story. We'd rather have the uncomfortable stuff, the discomfort, so that we can feel like we know what to do, how to manage, how to be, the predictableness of it. But to stand in the place where we have no cords, no connections, no structures, and just have this whimsical desire of the heart, which we've been told to not dream, not imagine, pull up your socks, get on with it. You made your bed, you lie in it, suffer, got to suffer to be beautiful. We've been told all those stories that we cannot dream, we cannot imagine something else. And that's holding us locked in now. So we're in this terrible struggle of trying to get rid of old concepts, old ideas, that this is our lot in life, that you can't have any more, that you've got to suffer to be beautiful. This is your karmic story. That's it. We've been told that so many times through thousands and thousands of years, that someone else has the authority, someone else has the control, that we're stupid and we know nothing. So we're standing here feeling stupid, like we've got nothing to offer. But we have this pulling of our heart, this awakening is coming through the heart that's asking us to stand for something else, believe in something else, even if we cannot see it and cannot imagine it. We cannot even imagine it, but we've still got to hold it. And that is the space between. Oh my gosh, it's so hard. I'll say one more thing here. And then if we want to step out of the karma that we've been in, the hardship and the suffering that we're in. If we want to step out of it, we can step out of it, because the karmic wheel only needs to complete itself, and then we can shift into something else. But when the wheel goes round and round and round, and we just keep running and running and running inside of it, we believe that that is the reality, that there is nothing else. And so we repeat the karma generation after generation. We drag all the information to help us stay in that momentum. And we keep running that karmic wheel. But we've got to now, and this is going to be so challenging for us, we've got to say, I'm not the karmic story. I'm complete with it. It's done. And I choose with all my heart and all my soul to step out of it now. Deep breath into that.
Mm.
Okay, my Neil, how did that go down?
Uh, it feels like I know it.
Of course you do.
It also, when I really connect with it, it feels quite emotional, to be honest.
Mm.
Whatever that is. But I can feel because I can actually agree with you, not actually agree with you, but I really can see that point is perhaps like maybe a real freedom, something. I can't explain it. So the only way I can say is how I see it. But if I see the space between like that, then there's all these things that counteract that. Like I desperately want an answer. Is what I could tell you. Yeah.
Yes. And feel that. I desperately want an answer. Just feel that. Feel the
Yeah.
neediness
Actually,
in it.
yeah, it feels quite forlorn, quite
Yeah. Yeah. Desperate.
quite
Desperately.
exhausting.
It is.
Yeah.
Thank God it's exhausting,
Mm.
because we are getting too tired to play in it again and again and again.
And yeah, so if we look at this, I'm not my karmic story, for instance, then do we need to go and we just hang out in that space between and see what happens?
Yep.
So all this manifestation bullshit is bullshit.
We
It's gonna
can't.
happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can't think yet of anything new, Neil, because nothing new has come in yet. We've only got our heart desiring, our longing for something, for a feeling, not a thing, not a structure, not a thing that says,
Yeah.
oh, look, you've arrived, you're wonderful, look what you've been working
Yes.
towards. It cannot
And all of
be. Yes.
and all of my feelings, all of the things that I want, or all of the things that I desire
Mm.
in this space, in the space that's not in the space between, can only be as a result of me not having them and thinking that if I get them, I will feel something different,
Outcome. Yes. Good. There you
which
got
is
it
all
right there.
bullshit.
The outcome. And then you know you're back in the hook. If there's
Yes,
an
because I'm always searching
outcome,
for outcome.
yep,
Yeah.
neediness, evidence, and there can be no evidence yet because the new structure has not come in. The new frequency hasn't arrived. We've never been able to know that. It's never been available to us. So there's nothing in the space, as far as we know from what our limited perception is. We know nothing about the next space. So let me just say to you in a simple way, and I have said this to you before, think about radio stations on a
Mm,
radio and those old radios
mm,
where you turn the dial. We've been
Yeah.
listening to the one station for a long time. And
Yeah.
when we tune into it, that's all we hear, all the information, all the stories that are connected in to that radio station. And then one day we get fed up with that flippin' radio station and we start turning a dial. We fine tune the instrument. We are the instrument. We fine tune it. We turn the dial and we start tuning into something else. But while we're turning the dial, we're thinking about, I want something else. This is not all there can be. I'm not happy. And as we're turning the dial, doesn't delight me. It doesn't interest me. I'm not interested in the story anymore. We're turning the dial as we're feeling these feelings. And then suddenly, boom, we hit the other station. The bandwidth is there. The frequency allows us to hear something different that we could only hear if we turned our dial. If we took that step of going away from what it is that we've been hearing, listening to, living in, believing absolutely, we take a risk and we move into the space between where there's those old radios, you hear that all that static noise, and you had to take a risk and move across all the static noise. And for the faint-hearted, they would go, oh my gosh, no, let me just go back and listen to what I've been listening to. It's predictable. I know at 10 o'clock that's going to come on, 11 o'clock that's going to come on. The stupid person's going to arrive and say a whole lot of rubbish and make me irritable. And we'll just stay in the same thing, the predictable, known, irritating, run out of its time story. Or we fine tune, we go across into a space that we don't know what is out there. We've got no idea. We're just hopeful. I don't like the word hope. We're wishful that there is something else. And because we are out of it, tuning ourselves in the desire for something else, we hit the next station. It's like, oh my gosh, there is something else other than what I was listening to. It's always been here, but I haven't had the capacity or the courage to shift out of it yet.
Okay. And what does having the capacity and the courage to shift out of it actually look like? Just becoming aware of everything and asking, why am I doing this? Or
I think why am I doing it is quite easily answerable. I'm doing it because it's known and it's predictable. And there's some sense of certainty in it. And there's definitely some outcome. So what I'm doing gives me something. But what we're missing is in the mechanization that we've created in the consciousness that we're in now, the Newton law, the machine that must run. It must have a beginning, a middle, and an end. So we've put everything into that, and that's what we're still plugged into. And that's not creative particularly. We might dream in a concept, especially for you. You'll dream in a concept, but then you put it into a machine and you start working it and you get an outcome. The outcome gives you some accolades or some accreditation or something. It gives you that, which makes your human self feel, oh, well, I'm justifiable and I'm showing up and I'm being responsible and aren't I wonderful? That's lovely for our human self to feel that sense of accomplishment. It's wonderful, really, for us because we have accomplished a lot as a human, as a species. But now we've got to ask for something else because the machine that is running, that we started to play in, is now running us. And we're all locked into the mechanism of the machine, all the systems, all the structures, all the pain, the belief systems, the doctrine, the dogma, the persecution, the prejudice, the guilt, the hate, the shame, the blame, the wars, it's all locked into the machine. And the machine is running like the cogs in a clock. All those little cogs fit into each other. They ratchets pull the whole system in a system. Yes. So that's fine for our human self because it helped us to survive to this point. Wonderful us. We've survived to this point. Now, what do we want? What do we seek? What do we desire? What can we take of what we know about ourselves and step into the next space? And if we were going to take anything, we must know that we are people who know how to make a plan. We are courageous and strong and beautiful and inventive. We have got the capacity for so much more than just what it is that we're putting in place. When we put things in place into a structure, we've already limited it because the structure then runs it. You've got a formula for a chair, and you go from A to Z in the structure and the system, and you get something that comes in that was an invention or creative experience or something that you wanted to create and make. Beautiful. That's when you were at your best in the creative process. But then you mechanized and you became a machine, and it started to process, and all the systems had to work, and the frustrations and all the stuff in the processing. And then you get an outcome, and that little outcome gives you a little bit of a lift, but not as much as the lift you had when you were creating, when you were dreaming up the potential. Then it's like, oh, that's who we are. These people who can dream more, the people with potential, awareness. That's what we're here for. That piece. But we get ourselves locked in time and time and time again. But if we could say to this beautiful human, look at you. You're creative, you're inventive, you've got courage, you've got perseverance, you know how to sort things out, you know how to make things work, you know how to bring things to fulfillment. You use the potential and maximize every other opportunity. If something goes wrong, you find another way, you're inventive. We are so incredible as a species. We're resourceful, we find each other, we use other materials, we find other people. All of those are skills that we've gained because we played the human game. So let's take those skills and bring them into the space between. Here I stand, a courageous, inventive, creative, spontaneous, delightful seeker of something, of delight, of happiness, of fullness, abundance, wellness, comfort, kindness, collaboration. That's me. And we bring that in, and that has no structure, my love. They are concepts of awareness. To be creative, it's not held in a structure. It shows itself in a structure, but it's not held in a structure. Can you see the difference? To be courageous is a known feeling, a feeling that we love in our being. We will show our courage as our human self by stepping in front of the lion and rescuing the maiden. We'll show our courage, but that's not courage. It's the heart that wanted to do a kindness that is the wonderful thing. That's the human species. We've locked our human story into a predictable structure, and the structure and the system has locked us in. We've got to step out, step into the place between, and something else is coming because we are these incredible beings that can seek more, know more, feel more, love more. Something's coming through us because we're holding the space between.
And I guess to begin to practice this space, or I guess it is also a practice to begin to recognize the space between. You just have to start trying to do it as often as possible and make it part of your conscious
Yes.
life.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
the thing that's coming, do you mean that's like a new, I don't know, realm of energy or consciousness that will arrive on this whole planet? Or is it for each person? Like, can you tell me what you think, what you mean by that it's coming?
I really don't know. I just feel it.
Okay.
I just
Okay.
feel this incredible surge that is moving in, and we must get ready for it. And that means
Okay.
start looking at who we are, but in the deepest truth, not through the lens of our human who has been here to survive. We know what that looks like. We know what it feels like and how it works, but we are to see ourselves again as the beings who can hold an energy in them that is not dependent, not reliant on structures, systems, people, governments, anything around us, money, nothing. That we are these people who are the holders of an energy that is pure potential. Lock that in to the center. That's what we want to hold in the space.
And in that pure potential, if you hold that, you also can't have an agenda of what you think that potential is.
Yeah.
You just have to hang out until you feel pulled or
Yes.
whatever.
Until the shift comes in, we're not in that next frequency. It's arriving slowly, like a dawning of a day. It's coming in slowly as light codes and awareness. So it's the dawning of a day. But if we just stay under the covers and hide in the dark room with the curtains closed, door locked, and then suddenly we wake up and there's all this light around it, the adjustment will be too quick, too extreme for us. So it's a moment by moment knowing that there is this other awareness coming in, this higher frequency coming in, and slowly it's assimilating into our being. And we want to be standing in this space with our hearts open, our minds open to the potential of this that is to arrive. We can stand here and hold that space. Then more and more and more will be able to see it and feel it as well, because they will see, okay, here you are. Oh, look, there's Neil holding an incredible place of courage, of love and compassion, of great desire and creativity, so inventive, so incredible at creating things, making things happen. There's Neil. Look at Neil. You're like a pillar, a conscious pillar, an energy pillar of strength. And that stabilizes the grid, the frequency, the matrix, or however you want to call it. And there's just words and words and words. But we stabilize the space because we know something that we don't know yet.
Yeah, that's a very good explanation. We know something that we don't know yet. I keep, it's also, I think, something that I have to unpack, but somehow there's also this idea of um, security.
Mhm.
And within that security, a huge thing is money for
Of
me.
course.
Part of me wants to be, I want to know that I'm asking a question that I might not be able to answer, but this space between, which has such a lure for me, it sounds so pulling, but it's also like, oh, there's nothing there. So if there's nothing there, how am I going to be okay? How am I going to live a life of abundance? Even abundance is maybe some BS old old year old world topic, or like you can create whatever you put your mind to, or your bank account is a reflection of your where you what you think is possible, blah blah blah, right? So I guess I'm looking for I'm looking for you to give me some security, but I realize that that's also BS in your explanation to help me understand this. You can't.
That's the struggle right there.
Ah,
Every
gosh,
single person is in that struggle, my angel. Everyone,
yeah.
every single one of us. It's the insecurity comes in. And can I
Are
make it
you?
safe enough?
So this what I'm explaining to you is a hook,
Of course it is.
and so how do you describe you? Are you? There's a trust that exists in you, or is
Yeah.
there nothing?
You got to
And there's a
trust.
trust.
You got to find trust. And so, Neil, how do you find
Oh,
trust?
wow.
How do you find trust? Well, it's in everything that is around us. We just choose not to
Mm,
see it from our
okay.
deeper expression of our being. We choose to only see what we can trust, what our human has been able to create. And that's our connections to our banks, our schoolings, our governments, our systems, because we've got those running and they give us that predictable, safe, secure awareness sense. But if they all collapse, what have you got? And if everyone's built their house on that structure and that foundation collapses, well, then nobody's got anything. But those who are standing in the space between, who know themselves to be creative, inventive, collaborative, kind, conscious, compassionate, we'll know how to do this. We'll find a way. We'll
Yeah.
find a way in a new way.
Mm,
We've already got it in us. It's already in us. You just have to look at your
mm,
life and see all those divine aspects of you. Look at them in your life and go and honor those. Go and see what you've created, my beautiful boy, especially your creativity and how you stepped into that. Look at who you are that knows that can make something that was never there. How on earth do you do that? That process of making something happen that was never there, it was just in your imagination. You pulled it into reality. Your pieces are so beautiful. And then you just made it happen, made it come in. You took a thing that was in this concept place and you made it a real thing that people could sit on and enjoy and be part of and have it in their homes and feel touch and our human solid energy form.
mm,
You know something. We all know something. It's that something that is not a thing. It's the something that makes the thing arrive. And that's what we've got to be, the something that can be here so that we can create the next thing. And how do we create it? We create it by holding our awareness of our being that is creative. We've got to stand in the absolute truth, unwavering truth of that. That is your trust, my love. Trust that you've been able to do this. You could just walk into your factory and see the evidence of it. Surely that will stabilize you. Go, look at this. Look what I've made. Out of thin air, look what I've created. Trust you. Stand in your absolute, stand in your strength. I trust that I am able, I'm creative, I'm fabulous. And at the same time as that, I can make this human stuff that it brings comfort and pleasure, but I can also create from my higher self. And what is that? It's that longing for something else, the expansiveness, the potential. That's why the allure of the abundance stories is so charming, because it makes us feel, well, then if I work really hard, if I establish all these structures and I set up all these systems and I focus myself and I bring my attention towards it, I'm going to create abundance, manifest it. But what manifested it? Not just you dreaming it, you actually got to work and did something. And you created the potential for that abundance. We've got to use this in the proper way. So here you stand in the place between, and you're not just dreaming about a human structure, but you're dreaming about the potential of humanity moving into its next elevation of its species. And you holding that, and you keep dreaming into that. Imagine us next. What else we could do if we start collaborating and holding and creating and loving and adoring each other and this earth and every creature and every plant. We started to connect through our mental telepathy, and we could start hearing and seeing all the colors, the full spectrum. Imagine what is still going to come. And if we know that, because, my love, we are that already, we are divinely encoded with a gift of all that is. We did not come in without that. That's why we yearn and seek. That's why we're not just these mechanized little robots that do and go and do and go and do and go. We are this being that is coded with the divine. Remember those words? I am divinely and uniquely encoded for the magnificence of this life journey. This life journey is your magnificence, and you've got the coding to bring that magnificence in. It's in you already. The earth is holding you. Your heart is beating. You're able to breathe and be in the moment. And how wonderful is that? That you can trust. If you ever feel wobbly, just stand still. Feel that gravity's holding you. Feel how the air is just here. You don't have to struggle to grab it and reach for it and do something special to get the air. No hooks, no conditions. Unconditionally held in the arms of gravity. Mother Gaia has got you so that you can be this beautiful being and bring in the essence, the perfume, the gift that is encoded in you. And you're a one-time deal. There is no one on this planet, ever has been, ever will be, that has the precise coding that you have. So you're going to bring it in, and like a little piece of puzzle, you're going to lock it in, and then we're going to have a beautiful picture if enough of us just lock in our codes. It's going to be fabulous.
I feel like there's nothing left to say.
No. Because it's just a being. Hey, my darling boy, it's a being now. A human being, not a human doing. We're this being now. And we start to be the divine being that we were designed to be. We've got the trickiest time because we are the bridge between 2 concepts, 2 awarenesses, 2 fields. We are the little bridge. We are the one. So then let's be the bridge. Let's span ourselves out, acknowledge our dear, delightful, ridiculous human, and adore the part of us that we're moving towards, the higher vibration of our light being. But the only thing we can do now, my Neil, is to keep pulling ourselves back into that center point. So we're going to drift into the story. We're going to feel ourselves getting whipped up into it, dropping into the machine, becoming a cog in those systems. We're going to feel that. But the more we can go like, oh, okay, this is just the machine that's running and it's a concept. It's just that. But there's the awareness that stands outside of that. And the higher part of that awareness is it's yearning, it's longing for something else. So every time we see what is happening here that is locked in, the karmic story, the drama, the pain, the hate, the anger, the war, all that, every time we see that, we mustn't drop into, oh my gosh, what can I do? Because it's a physical human. There's nothing we can do to stop people shooting and killing each other. But oh my word, as beings of energy and light and awareness and consciousness, oh, we can do everything. We can hold a space to let more light come in so that we get out of the darkness and stop playing in the shadows. We've got to bring in the more light. The quicker we can bring this light in and assimilate it and hold it and stabilize it, the quicker everything will shift. So if we play in, oh, the world's terrible, if we play in that energy, we're actually creating that energy. We're manifesting more in that energy. It is our fault then that people are suffering because we won't shift, because we are comfortable in the known, predictable, not so cool place. It serves us. Get out. Little discomfort, that's okay. There's huge discomfort in the world. Step into the place in between so the potential of something else can come in, because if we don't bring in something else, this will be the end of the human story. We cannot go on doing what we're doing, and we know it. But we don't know how to get out because we're trying to get out as our human and fix the human problems. We can't get out as our human. The machine is running the machine. It's just too big, too vast, too disgusting. The only way we can do that is if enough conscious people step into another frame of awareness and start seeing who we actually are, opening up our potential. Then that next thing has a potential to come in. It's a wonderful space, my lovey. We're not broken. We're just starting to open. And all potential lies within our heart and soul, the dreams and the desires, the longings, all of it. It's the awakening of our consciousness.
Can I feel a struggle? No, I can feel excitement. But the idea of it sounds, oh, quite almost purposeful that I've never really tasted before. Yeah, like it means something. Yeah, something that's free, maybe. To prepare for that, to more prepare. And I guess the only way is to just, it's very simple, it's just to keep coming back and centering yourself, connecting with your heart, connecting with the fact that there's human codes that you are realigning with. Yeah, and connect with the breath.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I think so.
Yes.
Mm.
That's exactly it, my Neil. And reminding yourself of the incredible magnificence of your being. Keep reminding yourself of what it is that you've achieved and accomplished and created, your creative, magnificent self. Keep looking at that and keep going, oh, there you go. There you go. I did that. I created that. I opened that space. By the grace of God, I did that. I created that. I was inspired. Look at that. Harness those as those gifts that reside within us that nobody and nothing can take away. That even if we were imprisoned in the most dreadful situation, no one could
Yeah.
take away our creativity, our love, our kindness, our courage, the desiring of our heart. Nobody, nothing could take that away. Even in being in the most terrible situations at the end of your life, we can still choose, how will I die? What will I hold in my thoughts, in my heart as I do my last breath? We have incredible capacity to create something in every single breath. What do I choose? What do I choose? Keep choosing your higher self, acknowledging, loving, adoring, laughing at the human self. It's delightful and it's wonderful. It's brought us to this point. But you also, your higher self, and we've not fully recognized and adored that part of us, not yet. Let's do that now.
When I look at the space between, then it appears as if I'm a very different person in this future space. And I'm not trying to look there. I just have been leading up to this point or this period for 40 years already, knowing in a way that it's coming, but never knowing what it is, but also knowing that inside of me exists this potential that isn't like it's like almost being able to see like it almost feels alien, like you can see energies and you can see like when I look at it, sorry, I know I'm not saying anything and I apologize. When I look at it, it feels as if like if there's a sick person, sometimes I look at it like that. I'm like, what is this thing that I'm feeling? And it feels like there's a sick person and I can see the sickness there and put the broke put the broken back together.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah, like there's put the lock, take the lock away.
Yeah. That's exactly it, my love.
That's what the new age feels like.
It is. And you've already been given a picture of it, a glimmer of it. So there's no words, you can't describe it. It's just an awareness, a sense that makes no sense. Something, it's a fragrance that you caught a whiff of as it was going by, but you've already seen it and you've already connected into it and you already know it and you know exactly what the remedy is. You've got to lock, you've got to reconnect. It's a reconnection. And that's exactly what it is. Exactly that, my sweetheart. That we are the ones, we are the bridge. Do you remember that movie? Oh gosh, what was it called? Back to the Future. And you remember he had that big electrical wire, and they knew that the lightning bolt was going to come into the tower, the town clock, and it was going to be hit at a certain time. And he had to harness this energy. And he climbs up there and he gets the thing in the one hand and the thing in the other hand. And he's just got to do is just push it together, but he can't because the rope is trapped somewhere or the cord is trapped somewhere. And he's just got to try and lock it together. That's what we've got to do. We've got to get this and that, and we've got to lock it back together. So who's going to do that? If there's no one in between those two spaces, who is going to lock it in? I love it that you said that. It's so wonderful. Beyond.
Yeah.
And all of who you are, that you are already, is the potential of where we're going to go. You are that already. Go look at your human life and look at this, what you've created in it and what you've manifested and what you've brought in. Look at that. Let that reassure your human self that you're perfectly adept, capable, creative, wonderful, amazing. Just let it reassure and comfort this lovely human self. And then go, okay, but if those things were not attached to anything, to any outcome, any story, any person, any building, any money, any structures, what would the concepts be? What would the feeling be? And get that. It's because of that, that is your nature, your true nature, your intrinsic, magnificent, majestic gifts, your encoding. It's because of your encoding that you are able to do a very successful human story. And it's because of your encoding and your magnificence that you will be able to be part of what is to come in next. Lock it in. Fabulous.
Okay.
It's good.
Thank you.
So wonderful, you, Neil. You know the stuff already. I just have to nudge you and remind you.
So that's sometimes,
You do, though, Neil. You know the
you know,
story. You've always known it, my love.
yeah, yeah. I guess sometimes you just need to talk about it, and then hopefully the other person has some inkling of what that looks like, and then you kind of there's a safety, or there's you say, oh wow, it really is true,
It is.
or yeah,
And Neil, you have got so many stories of being guided. You're not just here on your own as your delightful human, just trying to find a way through. You have been guided. Jared has been guiding you. Think about how those geese fly with you when you're driving or on
yeah,
your motorbike and how they fly next to you. Think about
yeah,
when you went to see your granny and it was her birthday. And I just got that thing, you're simply the best. And you said you walked
yeah,
into that place where your granny, I think is your granny was, and that was what
yes,
was playing, and you'd never heard any kind of sound or music coming on those speakers, those sort of system. And there
yes,
it
yeah,
was.
yeah,
You are
yeah,
being guided, you're being held, you're being watched over, my lovey, so that the next step can become available through you. It's through you, despite you,
okay.
despite your human. This is coming through.
I like that. Hit the spot. Because sometimes I'm like,
You're not, you're absolutely not. You're on the perfect journey. You're the perfect one at the perfect time in the perfect way for the unfolding. You are being guided. There is so much grace around you that is helping you to do all of this. Formidable. Think of the French word, formidable. In this form, I am able. Formidable. In this form, I am able.
wow,
Formidable.
that's wonderful. You know, Joy, the more that I speak to you in these last year or two or whatever, I feel so much, have so much gratitude for the things that I can, and I know they're not because of you, but somehow I feel so much calm, like I just understand myself a bit more, which is really great.
Wonderful, my angel. That's how it
So
works.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
exactly how it works. It's just the pathway opens and you say yes to it. And what you
yeah,
must ask for now, my beautiful boy, with all your
yeah,
heart and soul, you just say to your beautiful being, whatever is for my highest good, and you do this every single day, whatever is for my highest good, may
yeah.
that unfold with ease in front of me, just like a
Okay.
flashlight in a dark night. So, whatever
Mm,
is for my highest good, and it'll be so illuminated, so lit up that you can simply walk down that path. You know, the path's lit
okay.
up, it's lit up in front of you, it's the one that's shining. So, let's go there. Let's not tangle in the
Mm,
woods and get lost in the darkness, struggle.
mm,
Let's just take a lovely meander down here.
mm.
Every step is
Great.
unfolding. It's fantastic. So also think about the flashlight because it's really helpful. Long, a
Yeah.
beautiful space here. You're holding this flashlight. And if you stood here and held it and said, okay, I can see here, but I can't see what's next because the
Mm,
light only goes so far and then it starts getting shadowy and then dark and then darkness. I can't walk.
mm,
Even though I've got the light, I can't walk because I don't know what's ahead. It's just darkness way ahead like that. So no, I'm too
mm.
scared. I'm not going to do it. But if you've got the flashlight and you are the light, and the light of all that is pouring into you, and you holding it, and it comes from your solar plexus and it's connected to your divine and sacred purpose. That's the solar plexus. And here you are, you're standing in the truth in that. And then you take 2 steps and then the light goes 2 steps ahead as well. And then you take 3 or 4, 5 steps, and then 3, 4, 5 steps of more light lights up what you could not see before. It's a moment by moment, step by step in the pathway of your highest light, which can only ever be your highest light if it comes from your sacred agreement, your contract, your codes that are connected specifically for this journey. We only want to do the journey that we said we'd come to do. I don't want to do anything else. I want to do this journey and do it so beautifully and focus my
Yeah,
energy and my awareness here.
yeah.
Yes, don't get distracted. Just stay on your path.
You keep talking about my work. Do you
Mm,
see me here?
yes. Huh?
I'm here.
And no, you're not.
In my thing, I'm like,
Yeah.
no, and I get you. I
Yes.
get you. I'm not.
Yeah.
But I don't see that thing that is Neil, that is this amazing creator.
And you
Like,
know why, hey? You know why,
no.
Neil? Well, it's exactly what we've said. You must go back and listen to this connection. Okay, my love. It's exactly that. It's
I
because
will.
your human self has been looking at the formulas, the structures, the stuff, the evidence, the hooks. You've been looking at that. The minute you see your
Mm,
magnificence, the part of you that is creative, inventive, enthusiastic, purposeful, steps up, does, creates, falls apart, gets up again. So resilient, so courageous. That part is
yeah.
magnificent. It's beyond, my love. You are seeing glimpses of all of the struggle of our
Mm,
human self in your work. And it has been a struggle. Many times it's been a struggle, but here you still are. And here you're producing,
yeah.
manufacturing, making things that are
Yeah.
so beautiful. It's not the stuff, and it's not the business, and it's not the structure, it's not the money, it's not any of that stuff. That comes with it anyway. It's the self, the being that is creating that,
Mm.
that is manifesting that, that is opening. That's your magic, my love. Find and see and step back into your magical being. All right, my boy. Thanks for connecting. Bye bye, my best.